a lot of information that we want to share with you. Some of you might already know some of this stuff, and of course we can only share stuff that is already publicly available. So what we'll do is to give you an update on stuff and hopefully also give you a little bit of takeaways in terms of, what can you do right now instead of just looking for the holes in the cheese, but you can go do some work on something already now. So first of all, I'm going to give you an update on the Dynamics 365 Business Edition, the product side, a little bit on the pricing, and then I'm going to talk about the customer journey. So this is about getting the apps that you might want to put on Dynamics 365 interesting for the audience out there. Then specifically, I'm talking about the Dynamics 365 financials, getting IP to app source. We already have partners working on that, and this is the focus now from both QBS side, but also from Microsoft to help you guys get out there already now. And finally, there will be some call to actions, next steps, things that you can do right now. As I said, there's no need to wait. You can already start doing some stuff today on this behalf. I'm not sure how much time we have for questions at the end, but you can use the chat function, and Danielle will control that during the event. So again, welcome everybody, and let's start out. Some of you might have some thoughts still about Dynamics 365 and what is going on. So I just put a few of on the slide that I hear on a regular basis. What's really happening in the market, what is going to happen with my customers, current customers, what about competition, future competition, is Microsoft going to sell direct, where am I going with my business in this new world, and if I'm going there, how do I get ready? And the dots below, of course, indicates that there might be other thoughts in your heads. I'm not going to respond to all of these today, but at least this is what we're going to touch upon during the next couple of QBS talks on the Dynamics 365. You probably already saw all of this, that the whole idea, the characteristics behind Dynamics 365 is to start with what you need. So very simple maybe, and then you can add productivity in terms of Office 365 and some of the other tools that you know from Microsoft in general. We can have intelligence built in on top of that, so we'll make life easier for employees and for the process that companies have. And then you can grow within this platform in a very simple and efficient way. And you don't have to think about the upgrades and all the stuff that we normally think about in an on-prem environment. So one of the other questions that we always get is that, so if this Dynamics 365 is just a click, run, won't we all just be alike, providing the same stuff? But you can say the same about Dynamics NAV. None of you guys are providing the same solutions out there. You always add some IP or some customizations or some add-ons that will make benefit for your customers. So this is specifically the same thing with the Dynamics 365. The platform is different, yes, but it's up to you guys still to be different than the other ones. Some of you might have seen this short analogy with the platform that the Volkswagen Group is using. So this is the base platform for a certain number of models of the Volkswagen Group. And then on top of that, a different strategy on top of what you really want to put in here. So in our world, if you have a vertical focus on lawyers, hairdressers, whatever, you will build that into the solution using whatever tools and options available to make life better for these kinds of companies. So on this platform, now it's the Volkswagen, but if we use Dynamics 365, the outcome will be that we can have several different flavors and look and feel and experiences coming from the same platform. So if you look at these four cars, we have the Spanish cousin at the right, the more expensive Audi, and we have the Skoda, the Eastern European brand, and then we have the you could say the mass produced the Golf, which is a fit for many people. But these 4 cars have different target groups in general. Perhaps also they have a different set of comfort, a different set of engines, and so on and so forth. So the analogy here is, of course, that you guys need to put your flavor. Are you an Audi or you're a Seat? So that's the choice that you have to take. A little bit more on the product side. We had the confirmation coming out of one of the seminars or webinars that Microsoft did, that we know now that UK is the next region for Dynamics 365 financials, and we also know that Denmark and the Netherlands will be before the year end. So that's interesting, and Microsoft is also, as it says here, working on delivering in other 5 markets in the next calendar year. So if you look at it like this in geographic availability, US and Canada is already running, we all know that. Coming very soon to the UK, it says the public preview is already available in the UK market, so customers in the UK can try it out as we speak. And later this year we will get Netherlands and Denmark, probably in the opposite format, but that's another story. And then, as I said, investing in accelerating into another 5 markets during 2018. And what I said before also, that getting ISVs into the app source or other markets with your IP, that's a huge focus from the Microsoft side right now. So if you have an IP and you really want to get it into the app source, there's no need to stop. I mean, you can start doing that at the moment, even though the application is not ready in the markets that you currently work in. But we'll come back to that in a minute.
Erik, what about
yeah?
Germany?
I have no indication about Germany, but it's not in this calendar year.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
That's the closest answer I can get. I would probably think that Germany will be on the 5 list for next calendar year. That's just my personal guess. Okay. One of the other things that was announced was that there has been a little bit different announcements around this, but now it has been announced that Dynamics 365 for financials and Dynamics NAV will share the same code base in the future. So the 2 product platforms will be aligned, but Dynamics 365 for financials will be updated on a monthly basis. Dynamics NAV will have major updates once a year. So you could say that the complete alignment will only be there once in a year. Of course, NAV will still have its regular cumulative updates. It will mainly be bug fixing and stuff like that. All right. Additional enhancements. What we know now is of Power Apps and Flow integration. You already seen that, so that will be something that can enrich the solutions that you provide for your end customers. Easy way to do apps for tablets. You can build an app in just one day to perform a certain task or process in the organizations. And you have the flow integration where you can have simple flows running that's not just on Dynamics but also running outside Dynamics. So that's very interesting to see how we can leverage on that in the future. There will be some improved CRM functionality inside NAV that we don't have a lot of. I don't have any insights on that, but they have cleaned up the built-in CRM functionality, so it should be more simple to use. I know a lot of NAV partners is currently using the CRM functionality. I mean, if you just want to send a Christmas card, then that's probably more than enough for most of the small-based companies. But of course, the Dynamics 365 for sales, which will be the new word for CRM in this area, and I have a few slides on that as well, will of course be the number one way to work with your customers and contacts. We have enhanced Power BI integration, which means that we can actually embed Power BI inside the role centers in Dynamics NAV and 365, which is also quite interesting. It gives a lot of additional value compared to what we can do with the current role teller client. And then we have, which I'm not going to talk a lot about today, the in-app designer and the use of Visual Studio Code, which will benefit you guys as partners. In-app designer will make it easy to add new fields and smaller stuff in the solutions, and the Visual Studio Code will be the new platform for developing apps for NAV and 365. I have a couple of slides on the CRM or the Dynamics 365 for sales and marketing on the second slide. So what you can say now is that the sales edition or sales for business edition will have a simplified setup. So it's very, very simple to set up compared to what we know from the CRM Online or the current CRM product. And it has been tailored to fit the smaller businesses, as we know. I've seen some screenshots, and it looks really, really good. It is built on the same platform as Dynamics 365 for sales, the Enterprise Edition. So behind the scenes, you have a big CRM solution as well. So again, if you want to grow into that, then it's definitely also an opportunity. If you look at the marketing part of the application, I think the most interesting thing here is that it has templates, out-of-the-box templates for emails, campaigns, and stuff like that, which means that if you currently are using Click Dimensions or MailChimp, similar products should be built in this product. So that's very exciting to see how that looks and how that works in the real life. But very, very interesting. We will probably touch a little bit more on these two products when we have the next update on Dynamics 365 later this year in July. Then I promised to talk about what they call, or Microsoft called, the customer journey. So what is this all about? I mean, we have these two things here. One is 5 seconds to sign up and the 5 minutes to wow. I'm not going to talk a lot about the 5 seconds to sign up, but it's literally that it should be very easy to sign up and try the Dynamics 365 application. Also, if you have for instance, a vertical focus on hairdressers, animal doctors, whatever, veterinarians, whatever you want. So that's one thing, but the 5 minutes to wow is what I'm going to talk about a little bit now. Because when you get into the Dynamics 365, this is just the standard financials. You have a very simple layout right now where you can start working with the tool. And if you already tried this, you will notice that it can kind of guide you through and say, hey, if you click here, you see all the open orders you have. If you click here, you can see your customers and so on and so forth. That has been built into the standard Dynamics 365 experience. What Microsoft wants is, of course, guys, if you have a focus on a vertical, for instance, that you do the same thing. If you go to the Microsoft sites, and I think I have some links as well in this presentation, there are some samples of this, for instance, LS Retail Express, or LS Express as it's called. They have showcased, how they can actually do this. But the process is, you could say, quite simple. What Microsoft suggests is that the first encounter will be a very simple approach. So in this case, you have the Business Manager role center that I just showed you, and this could also be a related role center to your vertical or the application that you are providing. And then people will try it out with the demo data and say, okay, that's cool, and hopefully, if we can show that the solution can remove some of the pains and give a high level of value for the customer, they will get the wow experience. So the challenge for you as a partner is to say, okay, what do I put into this experience to get the wow? Because, I mean, if you just put in like 25 cues in there, I mean, people will probably not get the wow. They will get the opposite. I don't know what the opposite of a wow is. So we have to be careful and say, okay, people want to try this, and it should be simple for them to experience that. Okay, for my business, my hairdresser business, I can see that there's a fit. They understand my business. They can take away some of my pains. And when they get to the broad evaluation, you can, in this case, you can open for more role centers. So in this case, we're opening 3 additional role centers, but we're still hiding a few. So we're still doing an evaluation on demo data, but we encourage the customer to come, hopefully, to test out the solution a little bit more. And at the end of the day, if you ask the customer, will you try this with your own data, we can open for more, in this case, role centers, but also for more features within those role centers. So this is a task that, I mean, you should neglect that if you want to have a success in this area. So, I mean, you should ask yourself, how will people, as I said, discover your value proposition? Why would the hairdressers like your solution? And then show them when they get into the solution to get the wow. And they should be successful in using that, and then they will be happy to actually deploy or embrace the solution a little bit deeper with more functionality. I'm not running through all of this, but the user success, you could say, is a combination of what you know about your solution and the pains that you are going to solve. You should need to be able to set up a tour that actually shows some of this to get the wow. You need to have assisted setup, so it's very simple for them to actually move on. So if they want to try with their own data, it shouldn't be like a huge project that takes like 3 weeks. It should be more like 3 minutes or maybe 3/4 of an hour if it takes long. And then you also need to consider manual setup, help topics and stuff like that. All of this is a call to action, of course, from our side. Don't just develop an IP and app for the app source, but also you need to consider these things as well, amongst another thing that I'll come back to also in a minute. You read more about this on this link. I think we will share the slides as normal, and even the presentation is recorded. Next is an update on pricing, and this was actually presented at the Directions Asia event earlier this year. We already know that we have different ways of providing the business edition. So you can have a plan where you get everything, or you can buy the individual apps like financials and sales, for instance, if you just want that. And then we have the light user part as well, which we call a team member. So what is the difference between a light user and, we have the light user and the team member. We have the team member and the full user financials, and you can see the pricing. We don't have any European pricing yet, so I mean, we still have to calculate the currency as we speak right now. The whole purpose with this slide is to indicate that this is only available through the cloud solution provider platform. So this is the only way that you can sell Dynamics 365. That's through the CSP. And I'm not going to dive into the CSP program today. I think we touched upon it earlier, but we will probably dive into that even deeper in the future. For those of you who want to know more, you can contact, of course, your local QBS office, or if you already had a partner account manager assigned, they will help you with this. So put in the money. The plan is 50, so you can get everything, all apps for 50. So of course, if you just want to use 2 or more apps, then that's a better choice, and the team member is $5. This one, I mean, you also have some additional stuff included. So you have the file storage, the database storage. You don't have to think about that because it's unlimited. And then you have an external account license, which means that an accountant can actually access the solution as well. The last one is Container Intelligence. If you want to use that, it's 1,800 seconds per month. And to be quite honest, guys, I'm not sure if that's a lot or if that's not a lot. Cortana is a service that you kind of sign into, and they will provide you with some help on your app to present data for the users. But I'm not sure if that's a lot or not a lot. And I think also Cortana will be one of the topics for a future QBS talk around Dynamics 365. If you look at the use rights for the full user versus the it's here. The main thing is that there's no financial management tables. All the finance stuff is not there, but you can update existing data and entries in Dynamics 365. So if you're a sales guy, for instance, you can work with orders and edit the orders and so on. But you're not allowed to do the actual invoicing. But we will dive deeper into that also later on. What about everything else? There's a lot of stuff that is integrated that works with Dynamics 365 but must be licensed separately. So that will be like the Power BI SaaS version, embedded. The Power BI that comes for free with Office 365 works, of course, with the limitations that you know. And of course, Office 365 must be licensed separately as well. Embedded stuff that actually comes with the Dynamics 365 user license is something like Cortana and Analytics and the Power Apps Flow applications that we talked about earlier. So these are just examples. There might be other stuff, and again, we will update you continuously on this when we get more information to share. So then we have pricing tiers, which means that if customers have more seats, they can actually get it for free. Not for free, but cheaper. So this is the tiering. I mean, if you just buy the apps separately for the 40 US, there's no tiered pricing. But if you have the plan and you start out with the $50 US, after you go to 15 and above, you will get the seats for free. Not for free, cheap. I don't know what I'm talking about for free now, but cheaper. You get a discount on that. And the 15 to 49 is covering all users, so it's not just from 15 and above. It's all users. But when you have from 15 to 49, the 39 US is covering all the users active that you have. I hope that made sense. All right, so this is, if you look at it on a different level, there's no tiered pricing either on the team members because I say US $5 is probably also very cheap. So total recap is here. So planned from 50 to 28 US, 40 for the apps, and then 5 for the team members. Then we have existing customers out there, believe it or not, who's running on the perpetual, which means the traditional licensing that we know from earlier. And there are actually a couple of different options for existing customers. You can just stay with what you're doing today, keep paying your enhancement, and you will get the renewals as we know. That's up to you, business as usual. But you can also keep paying, or the customer can, and then they will get a cloud add-on SKU, which means that they will be able to run this on Dynamics 365. But they're still paying the enhancement as they are used to today. But finally, they can also move to a pure subscription model, stop paying the enhancement, and then they will get a traditional Dynamics 365 SKU instead. And how do we do that? I mean, yes, you can, when I said you can stay, that's the left part, but if you move, you can keep paying the enhancement and get access to Dynamics 365 for additional $0 US dollars. So that's free, actually. Or you can cancel the enhancement, and then you can buy Dynamics 365 and get up to % off the prices that you saw on the previous sheet. So again, you will get more details when we have the regional pricing on this, but this is at least the plan. Right. The next one will be presenting a little bit how we can assist you guys in getting there. We have, and if you have followed our presentations before, you will know that we have defined this Route 366, which is Microsoft Dynamics 365 plus one. The one is QBS. So we will help you do your journey to Dynamics 365. So it's all about enablement, getting IP into app source, distribute the apps and services for you on our Odin platform, and of course we also have a plan of onboarding new partners and new partner types to the network for the benefit of all of us. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the apps and getting IP into app source. First of all, just a recap on the types of apps that we see for Dynamics 365. First one is the Connect app, which means that you have an app that is developed in something else, but it's actually communicating with data in Dynamics 365 financials. So it's not built in Dynamics 365, but it's exchanging data in certain levels. Another one is an add-on, which we typically know from Dynamics NAV. Something that enriches the solution, so it could be some advanced financial management, payroll services. We have document management solutions in different flavors and so on. Stuff that will help people in all horizontal areas, you could say. And then finally, we can have an embed app that is more like an end-to-end solution. I talked about the hairdresser solution before. So that will be a hairdresser end-to-end solution that provides everything that is needed for these kind of guys. Of course, if you have an embed solution, you should also be aware that certain add-ons will fit into your solution, same as with the Connect app. They'll have the choice to extend and enrich their solution with the add-ons. Hope this makes sense. You can look at it in a couple of different ways as well. I mean, the Dynamics 365 for financials, if you just put an app on top of what Microsoft is bringing all the blue stuff to you, you just build on top of what is coming out of Microsoft. But you can also have an app that extends functionality. So you add a little bit on the localization parts, local requirements, and also in the application itself. And then finally, you can have some apps that replaces functionality. So you take away functionality and replace it with something else that you are providing. And the final one is a complete ISV application, which you will be able to put on Dynamics 365 infrastructure as well. If you do that, you have to be aware that some of the benefits with the Power Apps flow on the common data model and stuff like that will not be available in the same way. Do we have a question? No? Good. What?
There's a question. When will your solution be available?
Say that again.
When will your solution be available? On the right you have the ISV application, and above you have your solution. When's that available?
Yeah, that's a good question. Rumors has it, but I think we have to wait until after the Inspire, the WPC event in July. So we will probably know by then when we have it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, this is it's probably a little bit hard to read. It's very small letters, but this is actually, if you want to go to App Source and publish an app, We have created this route for you guys. Some of the stuff is stuff that you can do yourself already now, so take this away and read it after the meeting here. If you're new to this area, coming from maybe other products, I mean, you need to know about the entire financials or Dynamics NAV world. There's a lot of trainings on the learning portal. That if you're an existing partner, there's also DLP, and of course you need to know about the pricing and stuff like that. And then we have the entire Cloud SureStep training for you as well. We also have the power shots. I'll come back to that on the slide in a minute. And then, of course, you can decide, well, I don't have any IP today that I can put on AppSource, so I should start building new app, or you can do something with your existing IP and make that available. So there are different ways into this as well. We also have something that we call the value proposition, which means that, coming back to the 5 minutes to wow, so what is it really that you are bringing to the market, and how do you put value on top of Dynamics 365 with your IP, whether that's a big one or a small IP. And going the last mile, I mean, we can provide you with development services, upgrade services, certain kind of certifications. You can leverage on the ISV program we have, so you can work with other partners and learn what they did, or embed some of their stuff rather than building that from scratch. Maybe we can use the OneBiz and the Jumpstart 365 tools. And then finally, we also have some marketing services to help you the final step. And talking about the marketing services, we are working currently on this appealing, which will help you sell your apps on the website, and including the presence that you will have on AppSource. So there is actually a requirement that you need to have certain things available on AppSource to do that, not just the product. And again, rumor says that a lot of partners have actually been rejected because of failing in this part of the certification. So the website is and the presence online is one thing, and then of course we have the ordering, billing, and provisioning platform available for you as well. So stay tuned for more details on this. If you want to know more right now, please don't hesitate to contact us on this. Right, next steps, things to do right now. As I said, don't wait for holes in the cheese. I mean, you can do stuff already. I think we stressed this before, but everything is about upgrades in the future, and extensions is the answer to that. So go in and evaluate your architecture on your solution. How can you appify that based on extensions using events and hooks? And you should definitely attend the PowerShot trainings. I know that they have already been running in many regions. I think tomorrow and the day after tomorrow it's running here in Denmark, where I am. And then we have the week after UK, and the Netherlands is coming up with Spain also. And then we have had some additional dates in here, so please know that Belgium in June, and then France in July. It could be an option that, I mean, I know that Denmark is sold out, but if you want to go to the UK and they have seats available, you should definitely go for it. You can see the agenda for the content for the training on the screen here. And this training is done with Microsoft, and QBS is providing you access to that via your training vouchers if you're a QBS partner. User experience also. Don't hesitate. Start looking at this if you want. If you already have an app, I mean, how do you make an app attractive? How do you remove the customer pains? What is the wow effect that you want to get in there? My favorite, the roles and the role centers. I mean, how do you diversify from other. I mean, what makes you look great and not just look like the rest of them out there? And then how can you integrate with the other tools that is available, apps in Office 365, and of course Dynamics 365 sales and marketing. A lot of us normally says, yeah, but we're an NAV house, so we know all about ERP and financials, but customers will actually expect that these things are packaged in one single solution, or at least a user experience. So start looking at that. And finally, of course, the marketing part. I just talked about the presence on AppSource, but in general, I mean, marketing is the new sales. We already stressed that a lot with some of the webinars we did. So how do you attract new customers? Do you need to freshen up your website a little bit? And what other platforms do you want to be visible on? And then, of course, the social media part. Are you present in the right place? Is Facebook a genuine platform for you? Can you show some more value in blogging and so on and so forth? So these steps you can already take now. Before the end, I can share with you now a completely new, up-to-date OneNote page that will contain all the links that you would like to know about Dynamics 365. So we try to put all this together. So you have licensing and pricing, financial, sales and marketing, app source information, and so on and so forth. And we will keep these links up to date. So you will get access to this if you click on the link on the previous slide. So go in there, try it out. If it doesn't work, then don't hesitate to call us, and we will help you get there. Should be open for all of you, and we will keep it up to date, as I said. And finally, big events coming up. I just talked about Inspire and WPC in July. If that's a little bit too far away to go to Washington, then I can certainly suggest to go to Madrid in October for the Directions EMEA. And again, for QBS partners, we have a special offer for you to register, so you can follow the link here. But Orlando in Florida is not a bad place to go either if you want to do that in September and get the news before the European market. Thanks everybody for staying, and hope to see you at the next QBS talk in July. Bye bye.